The moment your dog starts licking your face, your hands, or even your feet, most people smile and think it's affection. But in many cases, that behavior is not love the way you think it is. Dogs don't express emotion the same way humans do, and licking is one of the most misunderstood signals they use. What feels like bonding can sometimes be anxiety, submission, or even a quiet form of communication you're missing. If you've ever noticed your dog licking more when you're stressed, distracted, or emotionally off, that's not random. That's your dog responding to something deeper than just excitement. Licking is often a regulation behavior, not a celebration. It helps your dog manage internal tension, and you just happen to be part of that release. This is why some dogs will lick obsessively when you come home, especially after long absences. It's not just "I missed you," it's "I'm trying to stabilize myself now that you're back." In the wild, licking has a very specific purpose rooted in survival and hierarchy. Puppies lick adult dogs as a way of showing submission and seeking reassurance. That behavior doesn't disappear as they grow. It simply adapts and gets redirected toward humans. So when your dog licks your face repeatedly, it can actually be a sign of deference, not dominance or affection. It's their way of saying, "I recognize your role, and I'm aligning with you." But here's where it gets more important. Not all licking is healthy or neutral. When licking becomes frequent, repetitive, or almost compulsive, it often points to internal stress. And most owners completely miss this shift because it still looks cute on the surface. You'll notice it in small patterns first. The licking lasts longer, becomes more intense, and happens in moments where nothing exciting is going on. That's not affection increasing. That's pressure building. Dogs also use licking as a way to gather information. Your skin carries scent, salt, and chemical signals that reveal your emotional state. So when your dog licks you after you've had a stressful day, they're not just being affectionate. They're reading you. And sometimes, they're trying to calm you down the only way they know how. But in doing so, they may also be trying to calm themselves. This is why some dogs lick hands during tense situations or unfamiliar environments. It's a grounding behavior, like a reset button. But there's another layer most people never consider. Licking can also become a learned strategy. If every time your dog licks you, you respond with attention, touch, or affection, you reinforce the behavior. Over time, the dog begins to use licking as a tool to control interaction. Not in a manipulative way, but in a learned behavioral loop. Lick equals response. And once that loop forms, the behavior can intensify quickly. What started as occasional licking becomes constant. This is where many owners unknowingly create dependency. The dog starts relying on licking to regulate both themselves and you. You'll often see this in high intelligence, high sensitivity breeds. Dogs that are deeply tuned into human emotion are more likely to develop this pattern. They're not just reacting, they're anticipating. So when you see your dog licking excessively, especially without clear reason, it's worth paying attention. That behavior is communicating something. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's uncertainty. Sometimes it's over-attachment. And sometimes it's simply habit that has been unintentionally reinforced over time. But it's rarely just because they love you. The key is not to stop a behavior blindly, but to understand the context. When does it happen? How intense is it? And what changes in your environment trigger it? Because once you understand that, the meaning becomes clear. And your response can actually help your dog instead of reinforcing the loop. One of the most overlooked triggers for licking is emotional inconsistency from the owner. Dogs are extremely sensitive to subtle changes in tone, posture, and energy. When those signals become unpredictable, the dog looks for ways to stabilize the interaction. Licking becomes one of those tools. It's predictable, repeatable, and often gets a response. So the dog uses it to anchor the moment. You'll notice this especially in homes where routines are inconsistent. Feeding times, attention, and interaction patterns all play a role. Dogs thrive on clarity. When that clarity fades, behaviors like licking start to increase. Another situation where licking becomes more frequent is during mild anxiety states. Not full panic, but low-level unease. These are the moments most owners don't recognize. The dog isn't barking, pacing, or showing obvious signs. Instead, they're quietly licking. And because it's subtle, it goes unnoticed. But internally, the dog is trying to regulate. And if that regulation becomes dependent on licking, the behavior can become compulsive over time. This is why some dogs will lick furniture, floors, or even themselves excessively. It's the same mechanism, just redirected. And again, it's not about affection. It's about relief. Understanding this changes how you see your dog completely. What once looked like love now reveals layers of communication. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every lick becomes information. There's also a social component to licking that often gets misunderstood. In multi-dog environments, licking is used to maintain balance. It reduces tension, signals submission, and prevents escalation. It's a form of social negotiation. When directed toward humans, that same behavior carries over. Your dog is interacting with you using the same language they would use with another dog. But humans interpret it differently. We assign emotion where there may be structure. That mismatch is where misunderstanding happens. And it's why so many behaviors go unnoticed or misread. The goal isn't to stop your dog from licking entirely. It's to recognize when it shifts from communication to dependency. Because that shift is where problems begin. And it's also where most owners lose clarity. If your dog can exist calmly without needing to lick constantly, that's balance. If they rely on it, that's a signal. And once you understand that signal, you start responding differently. Not emotionally, but intentionally. Because what your dog is doing isn't random. It's structured, meaningful, and deeply tied to how they experience the world around them.